everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXP and today is the 21st of September 2023 and Federal Reserve Board Chair Jerome Powell did actually state that the federal interest rate hike is absolutely unchanged, which just means that it's going to be stuck at 5.25% to 5.50% range. And because of that news, guys, unfortunately the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has definitely fallen down, and it's going to be really crucial and critical to check what happens over the weekend, because to be honest, guys, that would actually set the trajectory and the direction of the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies towards the end of this year. So in today's episode, we'll briefly discuss what was actually said during the FOMC meeting. And listen, guys, there is a very high possibility for an increase in the rate over the next few months. So unfortunately, that would have a negative impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. There is also massive news regarding PayPal, guys, and they are rolling out PYUSD, and they are doing that for Venmo customers. So definitely positive news, and this news, to be honest, guys, is definitely going to get a lot of attention, and a lot of people will actually be using stable coins. So we'll definitely go and explore that news. And since the last few months, guys, there is massive news circulating regarding Bitcoin Spot ETF. But in today's episode, we're going to be discussing a news regarding Grayscale's Ethereum's future ETF. Now, mind you, this is different to Spot ETF, and this is more to do with futures ETF. So we'll definitely go and explore that. And guys, listen, DeFi is always susceptible to attacks, hacks, and exploit. And unfortunately, there's a massive breaking news, and that is regarding an exploit that is actually found out on Balancer Protocol. Now, fortunately, guys, the exploit is only to do with the front-end system. And if you look at it in terms of dollar amount, the exploit so far has resulted in a loss of roughly around $280,000. So we'll definitely go and discuss what that news is all about. So look, guys, the cryptocurrency world is absolutely crazy and wild, isn't it? And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, I'm going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now, the first news, guys, is to do with tracking food using blockchain technology. And the news is that Salal is launching blockchain-powered food tracing system to show the journey of fruit produced. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that news. Now, the second news, guys, is a bit futuristic, and it actually discusses about the future of humanity. And to be honest, guys, I'm a bit skeptical about this news, but the news is that Vita, DAO, and Glycan Age, they're exploring longevity, and DeSci looks like decentralized science in Abu Dhabi event. So we'll definitely go ahead and look at that news. And look, guys, I'm going to be sharing my honest thoughts and opinion on it, because to be honest, guys, look, when you talk about blockchain technology, as long as the transactions are peer-to-peer, there are very limited use cases, and you truly need to understand the whole blockchain trilemma problem. So whenever you hear news regarding, let's say, food being tracked on blockchain, or let's say blockchain connected to longevity, or let's say blockchain connected to climate change, unfortunately, guys, they are just hype and very limited use case. But nonetheless, I'll definitely go and explore that news. So quite a lot to cover, guys, in today's episode. So let's kickstart with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE, and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE, and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media Guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Shalhoub Group, a luxury retail and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal, guys. They are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT, metaverse and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they've replaced it with Web3, and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys, listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again, guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below you'll get all the information. And listen, guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out. And they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, listen guys, there are 3 things I'm absolutely passionate about. One is death metal, ice cold beer, and the third one is extreme sports, and that is Tough Mudder. And Tough Mudder, guys, is a series of obstacle and mud runs that'll push your physical and mental limits without the pressure of competition. It's essentially a community that is built on teamwork and overcoming obstacles, where stepping outside of your comfort zone is the actual reward. And my big question is, guys, when was the last time you did something wild for the very first time? Now listen, guys, Tough Mudder Arabia has a formidable team, and one of the events does actually take place on the 14th of October. And Tough Mudder Arabia, guys, is putting across a series of events this year and next year. And the first big event take place on Fujairah Adventure Park on the 14th of October. So look at the show notes below. You'll find the registration link. And if you're someone who is in Dubai, there are 2 days of back-to-back Tough Mudder events as well that takes place on the 11th and the 12th of November at the iconic Jebel Ali Race And finally, guys, in the second quarter of 2024, there's a massive event taking place in Ras Al Khaimah, and that takes place on the 20th of April 2024. Now listen guys, if you want a season pass, it is at a discounted price. So look at the show notes below for the discounted price. And guess what guys, they have two different distances as well, 5 kilometers and 10 kilometers. And if you have kids, get your kids along. So check out the show notes below to find out more information regarding Tough Mudder Arabia. Next, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Grayscale Podcast. So check out the Grayscale Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Grayscale Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Because unfortunately guys, the global cryptocurrency market is down to $1.07 trillion. And yesterday guys, it was at $1.08 trillion. So definitely not looking good. And what happened is, because of the FOMC meeting, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has gone down. And unfortunately guys, the FOMC meeting news has not only impacted the cryptocurrency world, but the general fintech and finance world as well. And on a side note guys, Apple and Goldman Sachs, they have also decided to scrap plans of launching a trading app that is more to do with futures trading. So if you're into futures trading and were anticipating an app on Apple device, go ahead and look at a report which is published by CNBC, and they did actually publish this report few hours before FOMC meeting was out. So definitely negative news. Now so far as the cryptocurrency world is concerned guys, it is down by 0.61%, and the total cryptocurrency market volume over the last 24 hours is at $27.57 billion, and since the last 24 hours it is down by 4.21%. Now look guys, the moment we get some update regarding Bitcoin spot ETF, the momentum and the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is drastically going to change overnight. Rather, it wouldn't even take overnight to be honest. It must just be trending towards the moon the moment the announcement is made. Now until and unless that thing happens, we will just have to wait and see. Now let's quickly run through the volume of DeFi guys, because to be honest guys, the volume in DeFi is not looking good at all. It is down to $2.38 billion, and the total value locked is only at $38.61 billion, and Lido is still dominating at $14.22 billion. Now look guys, despite the global cryptocurrency market going down, unfortunately the decentralized exchange dominance has actually gone down I would be content if the decentralized exchange dominance would have actually gone up when the global cryptocurrency market has gone down, which would actually mean that people are actually selling their cryptocurrencies, and most likely they are transferring it, let's say, to stable coins or rather shit coins. Now, as of today, the decentralized exchange to centralized exchange dominance is 14.58%. So most likely what has happened after the FOMC meeting is people have actually gone ahead and sold a lot of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now guys, let's quickly run through the volume of decentralized exchanges. The number one is Uniswap, and its volume is $589.4 million. PancakeSwap is number second, and its volume is $193.73 million. Dodo is at number third, and its volume is $117.24 million. Maverick Protocol, guys, is at $114.41 million, and finally Curve Finance at $82.59 million. Now, just a few weeks ago, guys, we did actually discuss some hack that happened on Curve Finance, right? And today, guys, we're going to be discussing some unfortunate news that is more of an exploit, actually, not necessarily an hack, and that is to do with Balancer. Now, before we get into that, let's quickly run through the volume of stablecoins, because to be honest, guys, the volume in 2023 is definitely not looking good. And what is crazy is that in 2023, there is so much news and partnership regarding stablecoins. There is Circle which has been making partnership left and right, and in today's episode, we'll definitely discuss a massive news regarding PayPal and Venmo. Now, if you look at the volume of stablecoins, it is at $25.34 billion, and stablecoins is accounting for 91.91% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And out of this $25.34 billion, Tether USDT alone is accounting for $19.95 billion, Circle USDC is at $3.02 billion, and Binance Gas, which is ending its RIP moment, its volume is $699 million since the last 24 hours. Now guys, let's quickly run through the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance. And to be honest, I'm really curious to check what happens to the market cap of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies over the weekend, because that would actually set the trajectory and direction of the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at least towards the end of this month, and most likely heading into the final quarter of 2023 as well. Now, as of today, the market cap of Bitcoin is at $525 billion. Ethereum is at $194 billion. If you look at the 24-hour trading volume, guys, of Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're definitely not looking good. Bitcoin is at $12.6 billion, and Ethereum is at $4.94 billion. Now, most likely there's a lot of selling going on, and they're definitely not using decentralized exchange, but are rather using centralized exchange. If you look at the dominance, surprisingly, of Bitcoin that has actually pumped up since the last 24 hours, yesterday it was at 49.20%, but today it is at 49.30%, and Ethereum's dominance, guys, is at 18.20%. Now, in today's episode, guys, let's quickly run through the decentralized app of one of the most notorious protocol called as EOS. And look, guys, EOS has a notorious history, I wouldn't necessarily say of stealing funds, but at one point of time, they actually raised $4 billion, and there is an iconic figure in the cryptocurrency world called as Dan Larimer. And to be honest, guys, when EOS was about to launch, people actually used to say Dan Larimer, the smartest person in the cryptocurrency world, maybe even smarter than Satoshi Nakamoto. But Fluffy Pony, or Ricardo Spani, the lead maintainer of Monero back then, he was a massive detractor of EOS and everything what Dan Larimer did. And I very specifically remember, even before the launch, he actually called out EOS as Dan Larimer's fourth scam. And unfortunately, guys, looks like he was 100% right. Now, when you talk about EOS, guys, they did actually raise $4 billion. And guess what they did with the $4 billion? They actually swapped it with Bitcoin. And that is one of the reasons why the price of Bitcoin actually tanked. But that is a completely different topic altogether. So in today's episode, guys, let's quickly run through the decentralized apps that are currently working on EOS. And unfortunately, guys, the numbers are really scary. So what I'm going to be reading out first is the fiat value of incoming token transfers from unique active wallets to decentralized app smart contract over a period of time. And this would be in dollar amount. And the second matrix, guys, that I'm going to be discussing is the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transaction with decentralized app smart contract over a period of time, and that is most likely 24 hours. So the second matrix, guys, the numbers might show ridiculously less. So let's say if you see a number of 50, that does not mean that 50 people are interacting or performing transactions. It just means that there are 50 smart contracts. Now let's look at the scary matrix of decentralized apps that are currently working on EOS. Now the first one is PayCash Swap, and if you look at it in terms of dollar amount, it is $2.66 million. and the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transaction with decentralized app smart contract for pay cash swaps in the last 24 hours is 62. Now listen guys, these numbers are really scary considering the fact that they actually raised $4 billion, and there was so much of talks about EOS being the Ethereum killer. And if you're someone who's been in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space, let's say before the ICO era, you would know the hype that EOS had actually created, and unfortunately right now, the hype has completely gone down. Now the second decentralized app on EOS is DeFi Box, and in terms of dollar amount it is 54,460, and the number of interactions is 154. The third one guys is Beta Hash, and in terms of dollar amount it is 11,560, and in terms of interactions it is only 15. Now the fourth decentralized app on EOS is shocking because there was a lot of advertisements on this decentralized app, and it is called as SportsBet1, and in terms of dollar amount it is only at 6,020. Imagine guys raising $4 billion, and the number 4 protocol or number 4 decentralized app does transactions worth only $6,000, and to be honest guys, I wouldn't be surprised even the $6,000 are kind of transactions just to keep the decentralized app working. It might just be the developers who are doing these transactions, and if you look at the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transactions with decentralized app smart contract for SportsBet1, it is only at 15, and the number 5 decentralized app on EOS is NewDex. In terms of dollar amount, it is 2,170, and the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transactions with decentralized app smart contract for NewDex is only at 19. And look guys, unfortunately the project called EOS is completely dead, isn't it? And listen guys, if you're a massive fan of Michael Saylor, you should know that Michael Saylor only became famous because he did actually sell the domain name voice.com to EOS, and he actually sold it for $30 million. And after that he started harping about Bitcoin, and apparently he's one of the biggest advocates of Bitcoin. Now guys, before we look at the king of all kings, let me go ahead and explain a project or protocol called as Ethereum Name Service. And to be honest guys, they are phenomenal founders and they did make quite a lot of news, but I'm really curious to check how many people are actually using it, because Ethereum Name Service guys is a system that simplifies the way we interact with Ethereum blockchain, making it more user friendly. So let me go ahead and explain what this is. So the big question guys is, what is it that ENS or Ethereum Name Service does? Now ENS or Ethereum Name Service works like a decentralized phone book for Ethereum. So instead of using, let's say, a long and complex Ethereum wallet address, which to be honest is extremely difficult to understand and remember, isn't it? What ENS does is it allows users to associate these addresses with easy to remember names similar to website domain names. So the big question guys is, why is ENS important? The answer is pretty simple, isn't it? Because the Ethereum blockchain primarily uses cryptographic addresses consisting of random characters, and remembering or sharing these addresses can be challenging. So what ENS does is it aims to solve this problem by allowing users to have human-readable names associated with the Ethereum addresses, making transactions and interactions on Ethereum more accessible and user-friendly. A classic example guys I can think of is, let's say if you want to donate funds to blockchain DXP, rather than me giving you the full public address, what I can do is I can utilize the services of Ethereum Name Services. I can put my public address in that, and that will be connected to blockchain DXP. So let's say if you want to donate some funds to me or to anyone else, rather than giving the long series of numbers, I would just give blockchain DXP. So definitely brilliant use case. And so far as the ownership and governance of ENS is concerned, ENS or Ethereum Name Service is not owned by a single company. It's an open source project supported by a team of developers, and its goal is to become a fundamental piece of infrastructure for the decentralized Web3 world, something similar to domain name services. And to be honest guys, this does solve a lot of the problem. So the big question guys is, does this make it Web3? Unfortunately no, because to be honest, this still falls under Web 2.0, isn't it? An Ethereum Name Service guys, they also have a token, and the token is called as ENS, and this token is used for governance, meaning that ENS token holders can influence decisions related to Ethereum Name Services, such as pricing for .eth domain names and the price oracle as well. So you can delegate your tokens to participating in voting on decisions related to protocol. And this just reminds me guys, I forgot to explain when I actually mentioned about the example. Rather than me giving your full address, what I can do is I can give out the blockchain DXB address, but it will be blockchain DXB Now, so far as the tokenomics and distribution is concerned, there are a total of 100 million ENS tokens, and these tokens are distributed among different groups, including the community treasury, early adopters, contributors, and advisors with varying level of vesting, which just means, guys, it becomes more accessible gradually over time. And so far as the security mechanism of Ethereum name service is concerned, Ethereum name service operates on Ethereum blockchain, which at one point of time was secured by a robust proof of work consensus and now proof of stake mechanism. And Ethereum, guys, as we know, have thousands of nodes computers that actually validate transactions and maintain network security. So far as decentralization is concerned, the security is definitely decentralized, making it less vulnerable to attacks. And so far as the integration is concerned, Ethereum name service has partnered with various wallets and services, making it widely accessible and usable by the Ethereum community. And I do believe Coinbase Wallet, Trust Wallet, and even MyCrypto Wallet had tie-ups with them. And to be honest, guys, having such use cases is definitely brilliant, but it is a stark reminder to know that these services are not technically Web 3.0. It goes back to Web 2.0. Now, if you do want to go ahead and buy your ENS, you can, let's say, buy your ENS tokens, and you can buy it from Binance, OKX, BitGet, and Mandala Exchange as well. So listen, guys, one of the brilliant use case of, let's say, using Web 3.0 is, let's say if you want to log into your Facebook account, rather than using your email address or password, you can use your public address and you can use your private key. But now using Ethereum name service, maybe you can use blockchain txb.eth followed by the private key. That, to be honest, is a brilliant use case. So in a nutshell, guys, Ethereum name service simplifies Ethereum interactions by replacing long and complex addresses with easy to understand names, contributing to the goal of making blockchain technology more accessible and user-friendly. And it's needless to say that it operates on secure Ethereum blockchain, which has its own governance after all, isn't it? So definitely an interesting project. Now, guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. And unfortunately, guys, the price of Bitcoin has gone down below the $27,000 mark, and at this point of time, it is at $26,978. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.44%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 2.43%. And Ethereum, guys, is at $1,617. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.01%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 0.21%. And unfortunately, guys, Binance BNB coin is at $213. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next coming months if Binance BNB coin is impacted the most in a negative way. Now, so far as the price of Binance BNB coin is concerned, since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.46%. And since the last 7 days, it is down by 0.53%. So guys, what happened is that the Federal Reserve Board chair has decided to leave the interest rate hike unchanged at a range of 5.25% to 5.50%. And to be honest, guys, this news wasn't surprising. 99% there were chances that the rate remains unchanged. Now, what I'd really recommend you to do is, in the show notes below, I've provided the YouTube link where Jerome Powell did actually go live. And to be honest, guys, this might be the very first time where mainstream media were fairly decent, and they did ask him a lot of relevant questions. And what Jerome Powell did actually state that the labor market conditions are definitely looking good, and he did give some positive indication on how the US economy is doing. Now listen, guys, I've been watching Jerome Powell every month, and to be honest, this might be the very first time he was quite content with how the economic conditions are. But that does not mean it's going to continue towards the end of this year, because he clearly said that there are different factors that need to be taken into consideration. And keeping everything in mind, there is a very high possibility for an increase in rate over the next few months. Now, what I'd really recommend you to do is, if you do want to find out a schedule, go to the Federal Reserve Board website. They do have a schedule on when the next FOMC meeting kicks in. And that news, guys, to be honest, is going to have a massive impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And Forecast.news did actually state that because of this news, Bitcoin actually fell below the $26,900 mark in the early morning hours after Federal Chair Jerome Powell announced the interest rate hike. And he did actually mention that in order to curb inflation in the later part of this year, there might be interest rate hikes. So definitely crucial information. And even CoinGape news article actually states that after the announcement, Bitcoin, Binance BNB coin, and even Pepe coin did actually fall down after the announcement. Now look, guys, when you talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, ideally it was started as a movement towards separation of money and the state, isn't it? But looks like we have at least a couple of decades where such news does not have any impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And if you listen to Ray Dalio, that is exactly what he said. He's actually looking forward for a cryptocurrency that is kind of inflation resistant, and news such as this should not be impacting the cryptocurrencies. So if you're someone who's a genius, try to come up with a way that news such as this does not impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, either in a positive or negative way. Now guys, let's discuss some positive news, and that is regarding PayPal. And to be honest guys, I might have covered PayPal at least 3 to 4 times in just the last few months. And this news is regarding PayPal PYUSD. And the news is that PayPal rolls out PYUSD for Venmo customers. So let me go ahead and give out more information, because PayPal USD, also called as PYUSD, is essentially a PayPal on-chain regulated dollar-denominated stablecoin, which is 100% backed by US dollar deposits, short-term treasuries, and they are similar to cash equivalent. And they are going to be available to Venmo customers starting from yesterday, that is the 20th of September. Definitely positive news. Now PayPal USD or PYUSD is now available on Venmo to select users, and they will be rolling it out fully in the next coming weeks. So essentially guys, Venmo users will be able to make purchases using PYUSD and maybe even send it to friends and families on PayPal and even other compatible external wallets as well. So transfer of funds is definitely going to be easier. But guys, listen, it's so critical to understand that when you talk about stable coins, PayPal is actually not using open blockchain. They're just replacing the role of a bank, and transactions by PayPal or any stablecoin issuers can 100% be censored. I personally guys, I'm not a massive advocate of stablecoins whatsoever, but let's say when you talk about use case, rather than using let's say cryptocurrencies, PYUSD using Venmo will definitely be a game changer. And individuals guys using compatible external wallets and merchants accepting payments in PYUSD will also be able to receive transfers from Venmo users. So definitely positive news, but it's really important to note that there will always be a transaction fees, and it's so critical to understand that these transaction fees will be taken by the blockchain such as let's say Ethereum or let's say Solana or Polkadot, and not necessarily by PayPal, not necessarily by Venmo as well. So definitely positive news. Now guys, let's discuss another news, and this is to do with Ethereum future ETF. And what happened is on the 19th of September, Grayscale Investment, which is a leading digital asset manager, they submitted a documentation to the US Securities and Exchange Commission for the establishment of a novel exchange-traded fund or ETF exclusively focused on Ethereum futures. And this forthcoming entity, guys, known as Grayscale Ethereum Futures Trust, will be primarily composed of Ethereum futures contracts within its portfolio. So if you do want to read through the official filings, it is mentioned in the show notes below. And guys, if you go through the filings, it does look like they are seeking permission to list an Ethereum futures ETF on New York Stock Exchange, and the digital asset manager wants to use Ethereum futures contracts for its ETF. Now this is futures ETF, which is completely different to spot ETF, and the whole narrative changes if mainstream media goes and publishes this news. That news will actually have a massive impact on the price of Ethereum, but unfortunately guys, because of this news, it has not made any impact on the price of Ethereum or Ether. Now guys, let's discuss an unfortunate news. This is more to do with an exploit on Balancer, and Balancer actually faced a front-end attack worth roughly around $238,000, and the team actually believes that a social engineering attack on its DNS service provider is what actually led to a website front end being compromised. And blockchain security firms like Slowmist and Certic also believe that crypto wallet drainer Angel Drainer was involved in an estimated $238,000 worth of attack. But guys, there is some kind of a positive update, because Balancer did actually mention via Twitter that it was successful in securing the domain and bringing it back under control of a Balancer Decentralized Autonomous Organization or Balancer DAO, and it also confirmed its subdomains, that is app.balancer.fi and balancer.fi, are also safe to use again. So definitely unfortunate news. Now guys, let's discuss two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now to be honest guys, I'm not liking both of the news, so I'm going to go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on it. Now the first news guys is to do with Salal Food Trading System, and this news is actually published by Media Office in Abu Dhabi. So let me go ahead and break down what this news is all about, because Salal is launching a blockchain powered food tracing system, and the goal is to trace the life cycle of food from farm to fork, and they're focused on maintaining customer trust and transparency, and they're also focusing on simplicity, where consumers can scan a QR code via the Salal app, and this QR code, guys, reveals the journey of crops. Now listen to this, guys. I'm going to be touching base on this QR code after I go ahead and explain this news, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinion where I actually feel that blockchain technology may not be an ideal fit for supply chain management. As a matter of fact, I'm even confident in saying that using blockchain technology, you can actually make counterfeit and fake products appear to be genuine, but I'll definitely share my thoughts and opinion after I go ahead and discuss this news. Now, so far as this news is concerned, guys, regarding Salal food tracing system, they have a massive milestone and they're aiming to establish food credibility. And by using blockchain technology, they want to have assurance of credible data on the user screen. And the objective, guys, is to gain customer trust and loyalty, and the importance of enhancing food chain transparency. And they want to ensure product quality and efficient supply, preventing foodborne illness, rapid source detection in case of outbreaks, and they want to emphasize on knowing the source of food for health and well-being. And what they want to do is they want to provide access to Salal fresh products origin. And by using blockchain technology, guys, what they aim to do is they want to make it easier for traceability. And Traceability Project by Salal is catering to create a resilient supply chain. And at a macro level, guys, they're focusing on advancement on agricultural goals, promotion of sustainable practices, and overall, guys, Salal aims to revolutionize food traceability and supply chain transparency. So that is essentially what the news is. But listen to this, guys. Unfortunately, blockchain technology is not a perfect fit with supply chain management. So when you talk about QR codes, what is easily possible is, let's say there is a QR code on a physical product. What I can do is I can replace that physical product and I can just copy paste that QR code on the counterfeit or fake product. And because there is so much hype regarding blockchain technology, what I can actually state is that my project is using blockchain technology. There is so much of hype regarding transparency, and what I can do is I can make sure that fake products or counterfeit products do actually appear to be genuine. Now try to understand this, guys. When you talk about supply chain management, a product shifts across different stages, isn't it? And in every stage, there might be new blocks that will be entered in the blockchain system. So what I can essentially do is this QR code, I can just remove it and I can put it on a counterfeit or fake product. And unfortunately, guys, supply chain management merging with blockchain technology is definitely not an ideal fit. Now, this is just a broad level explanation. If you do want to get in-depth and technical information, drop me an email to info@blockchaintxp.com and I'll be more than happy to explain this completely free of cost. Now, guys, let's discuss second news. And that is unfortunately another news which I'm not content with. And the news is that Vita, Dow and Glycan Age are exploring longevity and DeSci in Abu Dhabi event. So let me go ahead and explain what that news is all about, because the event takes place on the 12th of October and the event is focusing on merging longevity and decentralized finance, also called as DeSci, and the aim is to revolutionize the future of healthcare. And the target audience, guys, is global leading experts, visionary and enthusiasts, and the venues are the vibrant heart of Abu Dhabi. And the topic that they're focusing on is longevity medicine, longevity biotech, and longevity investment landscape. Now the topics seem great, but unfortunately, guys, they don't merge well with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And the key theme of this event is the role of artificial intelligence and blockchain in longevity research. And this is a one-day event, guys, where they're focusing on cutting-edge developments. They're focusing on extending human lifespan and empowering individuals in healthcare decision. This is absolutely great. Unfortunately, they don't integrate well with blockchain technology. But what this news states is they're integrating blockchain technology. So let me go ahead and share their thoughts. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and share my thoughts and opinion on it. Now, what this news via vitadao.com states is that they're exploring blockchain's role in healthcare and they're fostering innovation in healthcare, and there'll be networking opportunities at this event. There will be thought-provoking questions and discussions, cross-industry collaborations, and they're going to be showcasing latest research and innovation. And they're also going to be having a visionary event for shaping the future of healthcare as well. And unfortunately, guys, people don't truly understand the limited use case of blockchain technology beyond transferring funds or making transactions peer-to-peer. Unfortunately, there is not much use case of blockchain technology. So what I'm noticing, guys, a lot of the CTOs, CEOs and founders, they're reading articles, they're attending events, and that's one of the reasons why they are triggered in a positive way and want to incorporate blockchain technology. And I very specifically remember, guys, in 2014, there was a meme actually that was circulating of a CEO stating that I want blockchain technology incorporated into the company, and the Bitcoin maximalist was actually laughing, stating that this is something that cannot be incorporated, but the CEO was adamant in stating that I do want blockchain in my company. And look, guys, you truly need to understand the limited use case of blockchain technology. The whole point of Bitcoin, guys, is peer-to-peer transfer of funds. That is the reason why the definition of Bitcoin is peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Using that same ideology, you can have, let's say, Ethereum, where you can have smart contracts. But unfortunately, guys, there are a lot of limitations, and you truly need to understand what blockchain trilemma is. That is decentralization, scalability, and security as well. And even if you were to solve, let's say, the blockchain trilemma problem, you always need to compare it, let's say, with a centralized entity. Let's say you compare it with Apple or Facebook or Google. Unfortunately, guys, a centralized entity will do a better job in terms of time, cost, and quality. And let's say what happens if there is a hack or an exploit like we discussed earlier today, a centralized entity will be able to offer a much better solution. Now, so far as blockchain technology is concerned, the only area where I do think blockchain technology merges with such use case is the data can be stored in an open blockchain, and that's about all, to be honest. But even if you were to compare that, let's say, with centralized systems, in a small scale, you would want to prefer, let's say, having your data stored in Google. But let's say at a macro level, maybe it'll be ideal to, let's say, store it on an open blockchain. But again, guys, the use case for, let's say, food traceability or for longevity is definitely not ideal. And what I really want you to do is, guys, go to YouTube and look out a video by Andreas Antonopoulos, and this video by now will be at least 8 or 9 years old, where he did actually mention that people in the near future will be using blockchain technology, and he jokingly said that there will be one blockchain catered on broccoli, one blockchain catered on lettuce, and he very specifically mentioned, guys, that unfortunately blockchain use case is limited in nature, and those are thoughts which I 100% agree to. And that's about all, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Date and Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. I have a question by George who asks, are there any events in Dubai that you will be attending? To be honest, George, I've completely stopped attending absolutely any events, and the reason is pretty simple. A lot of the speakers truly don't understand the limited use case of blockchain, and that is exactly what I did actually mention earlier on as well. The last event that I did actually attend was in the IFC, and the topic actually was banking and the future of blockchain in banking, and I did actually tell the organizer that the headline should have been blockchain and banking in blockchain. And I did actually contact the advertiser, and I actually told him that there are limited use cases of blockchain technology. Now, to be honest, George, in Dubai, there are very few events I would really recommend. There is only one group I can actually think of, and that is Crypto with Coffee. And Marty, George, there is no way I'm associated with them, but to be honest, they're a bunch of really cool people, and some of the OGs in the Bitcoin and blockchain space. And if I'm not mistaken, this Saturday, they also have an event on zero knowledge proof and compliance. So that is the only group I would really recommend. Other than that, all of the Telegram groups, they're definitely great. But when you talk about content, I definitely do not like them. Even Jitex, to be honest, I was really surprised at the lack of quality information. And I very specifically remember I did actually mention that in my Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast last year, stating that there were only 3 to 5 people I can think of that did actually know what they were talking about. But other than that, George, to be honest, I wouldn't recommend you to attend an event. It's absolutely great for networking. So rather than focusing on the content of information that they're saying, if you want to go and network with them, let's say if you're trying to build partnership, if you're trying to, let's say, meet new people, trying to connect with them or getting connected, let's say, with accelerators, incubators, or investors, then I would definitely recommend to attend all of these events. And there are loads of events. One of the biggest events that is going to take place is the Blockchain Future Summit. And in 2017, I was one of the speakers, but unfortunately, the content of information is definitely not ideal. And it's sad to say, George, in Dubai, and I'm not sure if this thing happens in another part of the world as well, if you're willing to pay, you could easily become the speaker for the event as well. And to be honest, George, a lot of these speakers, they truly don't understand what Bitcoin is, what are the use cases of Bitcoin, what is blockchain technology, and unfortunately, an attendee who tries to attend them, they tend to buy what they are saying. So I wouldn't recommend any event other than Crypto with Coffee. And George, I'm no way associated with them, but they are definitely a bunch of nice people. Rather than attending these sessions, George, what I'd really recommend you to do is go ahead and listen to podcasts. You can listen to them at 2x the speed and keep listening to a lot of qualitative information. The number one podcaster I can think of, it's, let's say, Laura Shin from Unchained, then maybe Peter McCormack from What Bitcoin Did. Anthony Pompliano's Pomp podcast used to be great, but looks like he's diversified into different areas. And other than that, Bankless is definitely in the top 3 as well. These are some of the podcasts I would recommend. So far as YouTube channel is concerned, George, I would only recommend you to listen to Crypto R and his name is also George. And other than that, Coin Bureau is absolutely brilliant as well. I definitely am not a massive fan of BitBoy, and looks like there is some drama as well going on regarding Bitcoins in it. I don't like Daily Altcoin as well, because what they're focusing more is on the price-related information. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. And in case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website, www.blockchaindxb.com. And also check out my other website, area2071.com. That talks everything about Metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And guys, remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes into Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other 2 news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East, and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.